Silverback Chronicles podcast. It's your boy Big H. I got my brother Dre.
Yo, que lo que, why?
What's good?
Fly.
Everything good?
Chilling. You?
Man. Listen, I'm living.
That's it.
That's it.
That is it.
Triple C.
Yo.
What's good, baby?
Maintaining and chilling, bro.
Always. My peoples, we proud of you. Thank you for tuning in again another week. Listen, we got a special guest for you tonight. This man is legendary.
True legend.
From New York to Puerto Rico. From singing, dancing. I mean, you name it, he did it. He worked with legends. He's a legend himself. But listen, I'm not going to say nothing else. I'm going to let this king come up, talk the way he talked. I appreciate him coming out. The OG in the game. With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eddie Nater's in the building.
In the building. AKA Poppy.
Pops?
How you guys say this looks great. This looks great. I'm excited and
How does it feel to be on a podcast? Like, cause I know back then.
well, eventually, this is like wow. It's great. It's just it's the ability to just kind of share information and share all those special moments that they just come up. It's like on the spot. Mm-hmm. That you don't see them on news or whatever, because there's a lot of things that go behind scenes that are involved with the way people feel about music and other events, and eventually it's just great. I mean, it's just on the spot. What better? And I'm gonna just do this. What better than a party like without being planned?
Absolutely.
Which I used to, and I won't take the time on you on this. But think about it. 1, 2 persons, okay, so. I've been to so many. All of a sudden, there's about 100 people in the house, and you don't know how did you get here. Says, well, I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance to send invitations. You know
but
what
while
I mean?
you're here, have a good time.
Yes, definitely. Music is universal, as you know, and since like I would say, folks that enjoy music from 20s, 30s, 40s, the changes have been so different, and for some people is that how could they just go about it? But they love it. Some people adjust to it, and some people just don't adjust to it.
We'll find out.
That's the way.
We'll find out.
So before we get into it, please tell the world, where are you from, born and raised, for people that don't know you?
Well, I was born in Manhattan, New York, Manhattan, and I just grew up in the, I would say our barrio, and now 96th Street down to about 125th Street in the 60s, and that's where they had a number of musical climates. I would say climates because everybody had their own different approach to it. But I believe, this is me, don't quote me on this, I believe it was like more into the romantic era. I'm just going to mention one person, one group at that time that was great because I used to listen to them all the time on Cousin Bruzy FM and the Four Seasons. Four Seasons were great. Beach Boys, but more or less in the area, because it used to vary. In the area of Manhattan, it was like the Four Seasons. And then you have the Four Tops. Then you have the Temptations. Okay? You have Martin de Vandellis. You have James Brown. And other groups. And then it just kept on moving up to other areas in the 70s. And things changed automatically.
So during that time, what was music for you as you grown up and you saw the different kind of artists and the different kind of genres? During that time, the 60s, 70s, what was music? What was it based off of, like love and harmony? What was it like for you in that period?
I would say it was like everything was based on love. I would say it was love. But the thing is that after a while, things started changing a bit because then Latin rhythms, Brazilian rhythms, especially Brazilian rhythms, started rhythms that nobody were aware of, started getting introduced in the area. For example, what better than The Look of Love? Sergio Mendes. Why not?
You said Sergio Mendes?
Sergio Mendes in the 70s. Everybody was shocked. Sergio Mendes, Harper.
Was that played on the radio? Or like, how'd you hear
Yeah,
it?
it was on the radio. It was on the
so
radio.
radio played it.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
There were no. I won't mention the other devices, but at that time, it's either you have AM or FM, and AM was great. We're talking about AM 550, AM 570 stations, but Sergio Mendes, he kind of opened that gap to like more or less the international, The Look of Love, and then in the samba, people didn't know what the samba was. And then it went out. Sergio Mendes came to the United States, introduced
Where was he from?
what Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah, he came in and he introduced what the samba was, which was like actually in the other side of the world. People loved it. So after that, it's just kind of now you have the music that is played in the United States, basically in the East. The West were more or less into Southern rock, et cetera, et cetera. Now you mix the music that was played in the East, which more like rock, folk type music, and you mix it with samba. And then what happens? Now you have the Latino sound. The Latino sound, which started emerging in the West Coast,
Really?
which a fellow by the name of Carlos Santana. Okay, now we're talking about.
How we talking?
We're still in the 70s. Woodstock. It was great. Carlos Santana, Evil Woman, etc. And
I think it's from,
he just broke out, and it was like an explosion. Carlos Santana said, "Where do they get these rhythms from?" And they started moving, and then a couple of other groups came out, Amalo, and I can remember exactly. There was like, oh, wow, just great, and they just move. But this is the 70s as far as the music that was involved. It's like a knit between that. Like they were waiting to happen. Now people are just waiting. Okay, what's going to happen next?
so it's like underground.
Yes,
Very underground.
yes. And then we still have other music like Country Join the Fish. We have Joe Cocker's. We have the music from the English, which was the English Revolution at the time. Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin. We have Hermits,
Pink Floyd, right?
Pink Floyd. All these groups that come from on the English side.
Or the Beatles.
The Beatles. Now they were like the first, and they were great. They were great. These guys were great. So what happens? United States says, "Wait a minute, we gotta do something about this." So then they got Santana, and then you have other groups in the eastern area. But this is the good thing about this, that as everybody evolves, United States has been known for most in this part of working out with diversity as far as music is concerned. So jazz comes in. Then you have groups like Return to Forever in the 1970s. It's the Chick Corea, which I knew personally, beautiful. Chick Corea. And Chick Corea's got that sound. It's a melodic jazz sound.
So Chicaria is
Chick Corea.
is a type of jazz.
It's jazz. Chick Corea is jazz. And it all came, it's like it's knitted. It's a breakdown of Like at that time, Elvin Jones, Wes Montgomery, Dave Brubeck. But the thing is that it starts escalating more into a mix of not only jazz, which is avant-garde and is freeform. Jazz is freeform. You have a number, for example, Thelonious Monk. There's a number that is famous, which is famous around the world. It's called Round About Midnight. We've heard it a number of places. Some people don't even know it, but they say, I heard that before. What happens? This number continues to evolve, and then what Returns to Forever does is that it creates this accelerated rock sort of movement around it. It's like, I would say, progressive jazz.
Like evolves.
Progressive jazz. So you have all these movements going on, and it's great. And if you hear to Return to Forever, you say to yourself, wait a minute, what is this all about? Where is this going? To the point that Return to Forever were so influenced that to the public that they will open up for groups like The Who, Pink Floyd, Journey. They were great. They were just great. But this is still the 70s, though.
Now, what did music do for you to make you want to get started into it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, how'd you...
What developed the passion for you to be like, you know what? I want to get started in music. And did you play instruments? What got you into it? Where did the passion come from in reference to music? And what made you want to go in wholeheartedly?
Well, eventually, I guess it was my parents. My parents, especially my father. And I'm going to mention...
Because your background, you're what, Puerto Rican?
Yes, I am Puerto Rican. Yes, I'm Puerto Riqueño, 100%. The thing is that back in the... Now we're going to go back a little bit. Just real quick. Back in the 40s, their groups were basically trios. Trios that used to play music from Puerto Rico, and mostly were ballads, romantic ballads. And then we have guys like Rafael Hernandez, Bobby Capó, Marc Antonio Muñiz, especially Rafael Hernandez. And a lot of these numbers were actually connected to Puerto Rico, how the island developed itself, and the love stories of the island. But there were trios, 3 guitars. First, and they just continue on for a while. And then from the trios, they started the small orchestras, 4 sax, three trumpets, and in the hotels in an area, San Juan, which is Puerto Rico, for the tourists. But still to this day, they still have the trio because they're very melodic and very how should I say, known, because they're like...
It's part of the history.
Yes. Even younger folks, you tell them, okay, you ever heard of so-and-so? Says, yes, because it's a development. So to go back to where it started, my father, incredible musician, simple, humble. He used to play the mandolin, but he had the ability to play the mandolin, guitar, the bass. So I said, okay, I never had like an interest on guitars, but one day he says, I got a little treat for you. I said, okay, fine, let's do this. First thing I thought was, okay, we're gonna see one of his friends, which they play great. The harmonies were incredible. And at that time, there was technology was not like up to date. They were just like 3 microphones. So who do we go see? We went to see Mr. Tito Puente.
Tito Puente.
Ernesto Tito Puente.
Wow.
He is the king of Latin music. Why?
So he was just playing in the hotel.
Yes. And it was my father, my mother, myself. I was young. Must have been like 14, going on 15. And that was it. I dropped everything. I said, wait a minute. This is great. He has a big band. We're talking about 4 trombones, 3 trumpets, 2 saxes. He plays the timbales. Timbales are like, I would say two nice cans with skins on it, and they're crafted. They're very well crafted because they're metal. So you get an idea. They're metal, and then they got 2 bells, which is the Mambo bell and the Chacho bell. And then you got your sticks. They come from the family of drums, but it's like playing 2 tom-toms itself. So he was playing this, and he also played marimba, and he played 2 numbers. That did it for me. I said, no, this is it. This is great. And he introduced me. He says, this is like maybe coming to approach to one of your greatest musical heroes. Not only Tito played, that's why I always respected Tito, because he not only played timbales, he played timbales, conga, bass, bongos, congas. I'm sorry. He did the whole composition of the band, and he recorded before he died up to about 150, 120 records. That's why they call him king of salsa, because he's not only played the drums, the timbales, he could do an arrangement. So I told some of my friends, I said, hey, put it this way. If you could do all that, then I could go. But still, everybody came out of him. Everybody followed him because they follow his patterns and they respected him. He's great to the point. And after that, I just went home, and the next thing you know, my father buys me a pair of timbales.
Did you ask for them, or he just knew to get those?
No. I just told him, okay. He says, okay, so what do you think? I said, okay, how about a pair of timbales? And after that, it just triggered off. Got into...
Now, what are timbales? Are they drums?
Timbales are, let's put it. Figure timbales are two timpanis. Because this goes back to 1937, and this all started in Cuba. 1937, more or less. The timpanis, but imagine a timpani.
What's a timpani?
Like a timpani. Instruments that are played, basically, and they give you the low and highs with the skins in
It's like a can.
in the orchestra.
Like a metal.
It's put it this way.
Right? There's like, they get like, what kind of skin is it?
At the beginning was cow skin. You have to mold it with heat and bring it to a size 12, size 13, size 14. At that time, all drums, like the African drums, were done like that. They were done originally.
So it was like a drum.
Everything
It's
originally.
like cowhide.
Yes, it's cowhide. Okay. Yeah, only that to keep the timing and to keep them from aging. They at the beginning they were wood, and then they turn them into. I'm sorry.
So it
They
creates
turn
a
them
crazy,
into
that sound.
They have to cut them into they have to cut them into different sizes, but you have all sizes, and timpanis you could tune, but they have, I think it's A, F, G. The timbales, the solo used to normally two sides. Only that, if you imagine the timpanis, you bring them to two smaller sizes. You have the primero and you have the segundo. Primero and segundo. And that, what you do is, which is a strange story, they used to play them back in Cuba. They call them paila, Paila, paila. You take them and you tell them, okay, something's got to happen here. Let's give it a little sabor, flavor. By accident, this guy had a cowbell from a cow.
Give him some cowbell.
A cowbell. Why they call it cowbell? Because it's from a cow.
From a cow.
So he got a cowbell, and he just happened to put the cowbell from the cow on top of the timbal. And there it goes. There it goes. Mm-hmm. They got into this. We're talking about 1930s. And we're going to go back to the clave. This is another thing. This is where other music comes from. 3-2 or 2-3. He goes and they got into a little group and they started getting into a nice drum session. So he started playing with that, and then the clave. They said, wait a minute, that sounds good, but I still like the clave. I said, wait a minute, we got something here. And the guy said, okay, why don't we put it somewhere? Put the clave, the cowbell, this is original. This clave right now, if it was still around, I don't know, this clave would be worth like $10,000, okay? And this was handmade. Claves were handmade. And they took the clave and they put it on the timbal. All of a sudden, after a while, what does it do? Oh, there it goes.
Oh.
Then next thing you know, the clave is on the timbal. Now, there it goes that. The claves is, which is the 2 is the 3-2 and the 2-3. Usually the Cuban rhythm is usually on the 2-3. And the other rhythms are usually on, which everybody knows that. But you'll be surprised. I think even life is on. If you think about it. It's on a clave. Even the numbers that are played in different styles, rock, etc. Think about it, because it's all timing. The clave is in there. Singing, you cannot do a number without clave. A person that doesn't have clave will have a problem.
Clave is what? What do you mean by clave? Is that rhythm?
Clave is the rhythm.
It's the
rhythm. It's like Antu e paseri por e olevo. For example, I'm gonna use a number which everybody knows. Oye cómo va, from Tiro Puente. Oye cómo va, a mi ritmo para gozar, mulata. Okay.
So how you say clave in English?
Clave. I say clave. 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 Everybody knows it. And you see, the thing is, oye, cómo va mi ritmo, pero para gozar, mulata. And it all falls in there. And the thing is, all the dancers, that's what they use. Clave and the numbers. Clave is the basic. It's like the spinal cord of the music. That's what it is. And all basically all rhythms.
All genres of music.
Clave. Clave. So that's what it is. It's the clave. Clave is very, very important. And if you want to have some fun, get any number out there right now and start counting, and you find out the clave is in there. It's in there, and it's very interesting because there I found the clave. But if you don't have a clave, you have a problem
It's
because
gonna be a long night.
you're gonna be
out of tune and
You're gonna
shit.
be skidding all over the place. I can't find my clave. People say I still can't find my clave, like I can't find my rhythm. You know? Yeah. Hey, watch this. Hey. And I could do one more. Let me see. Yeah, it works like the look of love is in your arms. The look in the sky. Forget about it. I'm not a very good singer, but it's in there. Look, if you want to have it for fun, any number that you listen to, the clave has to be there. Otherwise, the coordinates are going to go
Everywhere.
everywhere.
So the clave, and you need somebody to sing that thing.
Right.
Yes. That's why you have guys like Bobby McFerrin. Incredible. Incredible. I mean, incredible. That he's got that control. You could go out of the clave. Have friends that could go out of the clave, even playing congas and stuff, but you have to have the ability. That's where you know the intellectually way of music around them, how they could go in. By McFerrin could go singing, he could come right back. And I have friends that I have played with professionally, and they just look at me and they just go clave, and I said, "You better come back," and they come back.
You know Hector Lavoe, right?
Yes, sir. I knew Hector Lavoe personally.
No, personal.
Great person. I miss him so much.
That's the way, right?
I miss him so much.
Rest in peace.
How was his voice?
Like in real life. Like in person.
How did it mesh well with the instruments and everything?
You know, that's the movie Mark Anthony and J-Lo did.
Yeah.
The Voice.
El Cantante.
El Cantante. Shout out to
He,
him.
Hector was, how should I say, so incredibly talented. Incredibly to the point that at one point he didn't even know. He was just going, he didn't know what he had. Actually, from what I talked, and we were very good friends.
How long you know him for?
For a while, a long time. Since he was young. Because, see, the thing is that we're both slim. So he told me, okay, which of us is slimmer? I said, okay, let's say I'm a skeleton. Why are you? He says, I'm probably going to win somewhere. I don't know. But he had an incredible humor. And he was just like a natural. That's the problem, which I always had. He was such a natural. See, this is the thing about singing, especially salsa. You gotta have that talent. It's not like you're gonna read something and you're gonna do it. This is on the spot. This is on the spot situation, and he'll walk in the door, and I would say, Hector, I'm not a singer, so I'm sorry, but I was amazed. There's not many people that could do that. I know them personally, friends of mine that could do that. But Hector, why they call Hector the singer of singers? Because the other singers respected him for that. He could, I'm trying to come up with the right word for this.
He had the it factor.
Right. He would just walk in the door and you tell him, Hector, Carolina. And he'll say, hey, Carolina, que se la bonita. It's like a rap, but better than a rap type thing. Because that's like more or less like a follow-up to a coordinates. And he could be there for about half an hour singing about it, and you say, how did he get there? And without no hesitation, he would just go there. Carolina la bonita que se quiero, but not like that. And I can remember exactly which one.
Did with like a buttery voice though.
Right.
So let me ask you a question.
Right.
Hector, and I love them both, but they also say the same thing about Frank Sinatra. You know, like both of them.
Oh no, they would have. They would have.
Is there a difference?
They would have had a great time because Hector could adapt to anybody. Hector could adapt.
He was a chameleon.
Right. He could adapt. Yeah. Frank Sinatra could have sang, I want to be around. I mean, Tony Bennett. Let's say Tony Bennett. And Hector would say, yo quiero estar contigo en estos momentos. ¿Por qué? Porque la vida me trae en un asunto de esto. Porque yo seré. Porque cuando tú estás, yo no sé si me envuelvo en aquello y en esto. Pero tú sabrás que yo seré para ti dentro de esto. He would do it. They were automatic. And Hector had the ability. And he never got that grandeur thing of, excuse me, I'm Hector La Voz. He was just simple. They just built him up. The singer of singers. He was so humble. He had a great sense of knowing where he was going. His humor was incredible, and he sang. He learned a lot from there's a thing which I can remember right now that they do in Puerto Rico, that it's you just sit down and sing and coordinate. I'll come up with it in a minute, and I wish my friends was here. He would just sing it out, and he will be with them, and he would just do it. And you
Sounds like a freestyle session.
Yeah. And you all you have to do is the talent that he had is incredible to this point that all you have to do is give him a name, a phrase.
Yeah, like a freestyle.
Give him a phrase, and he would just continue on and on. Right.
He will make it his own.
Right.
He will continue on and on. Right.
Why do you think? What does Mark Anthony do for you to stay so relevant? Does Mark has the it factor? Of course he does. But what is it about him that keeps him relevant to this day and age?
Mark,
his concert like
Mark used to do.
Was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Mark got it.
Mark, yes, Mark, like Hector, Mark has a gift. This is a gift, and I'm still looking for that word that is used, especially if anybody goes to Puerto Rican Christmas and listen to the people sing. That's a gift. They're right there. That's it.
They just got it.
They just got it. You tell them, give them a word, and they'll just continue on and on and on, and they'll just pick out, and you'll stay with you're like, what? That's it. And Mark is very good. I met Mark in I would say in the late 80s when he came out with his first album.
That first album is
right. He came out with his first album. He comes from a very, very respectable. His father, very respectable musical background. He's got it. His talent is there. He's got an incredible pitch. He's very how should I say? He puts it all into. He gets involved.
He gives it his all.
Right, with the song. He'll get the
it's like he's crying almost.
Right. He'll get the song, the lyrics, and he's there for the song.
Passionate.
He'll do it. He'll get involved. He's got a great sense of rhythm. He knows exactly where to go. He knows how to bounce between salsa, like I would say, like rock, and he's got it's a little bit of everybody. Everybody. And I'm still looking for that other word, which I'm going to come with, which it separates the singers from the non-singers, and all the system. I believe that he's not only now, but he will still continue to be successful in what he's doing, because to him there's no barriers. He's great. His timbre, T-I-M-B-R, timbre, which is what you have in your throat. He could just stay there. He could just stay. I got the word. The word is called improvisar.
Yeah,
Improvise.
Yeah.
You'll give him if you want to know a singer, like I'm gonna mention friends of mine, Gilberto Santa Rosa, Tito Nieves, Domingo Quiñones, Maelo Ruiz, Andy Montañez, Oscar de Leon. These guys, Victor Manuel, give them a word. Tell them, okay, mira, for example, Mi Casa. They'll take that and they'll involve it in a real nice, mellow environment. And they'll sing it to you. Mi casa this, mi casa that, mi casa this, mi casa that.
That's crazy.
And another guy, which I'm going to mention, great friend of mine's, may God bless him, Cano Tremera, I believe one of the best. Cano Tremera used to sing a number, used to call La boda de ella tiene que ser la mejor. People in the Latin environment know what that number is. It's about a wedding, about a girl. I saw Cano Tremera. He was with me in New York. He sang 23 verses of La boda de ella without repeating. Now, that is something. That is not easy. 23 verses of La boda de ella.
Yeah, it's like improvisar means freestyle.
Improvisar, yeah.
But I was saying that it's crazy how that translates into like hip hop.
Yes.
Because I remember being in studios.
Right.
And they'd be like, if you really can't freestyle, it's kind of like, eh. But like the best freestyle artists are considered the ones that could do it on the spot. You know what I mean?
It's on the spot. I'll give you a word, and you just continue.
Everyone says it. You give Jay a topic in a half an hour with no pen and pad, he's like, let's do it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's where that's the connection.
Yeah,
that's like godlike, bro.
It's a God.
Born with
it's
that
a
shit.
God that a God talent, given talent. It's just, but Hector was like that. Like, for example, he's got a number, which is, I'm not going to promote this, but eventually Hector on the Pass, he used to play with a band, and they used to do Christmas music, and that's where a lot of improvising comes in. Because believe me, I know about that. My friends do a lot of that with the guitars and stuff. You will give this a couple of numbers on these different albums that Hector just goes, and he just goes on, and people say, how do you do this? But it's automatic. It's the talent. And it's incredible to see. My eyes used to get teary. How do you do this? And to him, he didn't get like, okay, so I'm here for the fun of it. So what's next? Let's go eat or let's go drink. I don't care, it's fine. And then while we're eating, somebody will say something, and he will just start right there again, all over again. Incredible.
It was all like a creative space.
Yeah, it's just a talent. It's just a talent. It's just great. We're talking about 1970s.
So let me ask you around that time, if you don't mind. How was the nightlife?
Oh boy.
Because you're around all these, and you're a musician.
Yeah.
And these are all your buddies. Like, how was that?
Yeah. Let's go to New York. Let's go to the 70s. New York.
New York in the 70s.
As a musician, There were times that I used to play like 3 times a night in a night. 3 times. We're talking about running from one place 9 to 11. We leave there. You leave 11, then you go from there to another place, 11 to 2, and then you go to an after hour. I mean, we're talking about 3 or 4 nights, 3 or 4 nights a week, 3 or 4 nights a week. Especially, now I'm going to promote this because I was in the Bronx at that time. I mean, I was living in Manhattan, but basically they had, in the Bronx alone, they had like 20 clubs. 20 clubs,
Really?
okay? 20 clubs.
would've never known
Manhattan
that.
had like about 15 or 20. Staten Island, Queens, everybody in the 70s had clubs. It was a boom. That was what it was. It was a boom. We're talking about salsa, which was the big thing at the time, and boogaloo. And we would go from like Manhattan to the Bronx to Staten Island. And then there were times which I can forget this one. I went from Manhattan to Staten Island to the Bronx to go to Bay Mountain on a boat ride at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's incredible. It's incredible. But
I'm lost already.
if you wanted to have because now at that time, not everybody wanted to do this, but a lot of people wanted to get into the mood, what they call the scene. You want to get into the scene now. You say, oh man, I remember people used to go out, they used to work all day, pop, get dressed. Okay, let's go, let's do this. It's 7 o'clock, whoop, I'm gonna go to Bonnie Google's. It's 86th Street. From Bonnie Google's, we run, we go to Cabo Rojeño, the Bronx. They finish there, we go to the other place. And then from there, if you got a car, we go to Palladium, which was the Mecca. Palladium was the Mecca.
That was like the biggest.
That was the biggest. Palladium.
What was that at, man?
Palladium was on 53rd Street, right in front of the Ed Sullivan show.
Wow. It's crazy that you remember this.
The biggest Latin bands were in the Palladium. Tito Puente, Joe Cuba, Tito Rodriguez, Orquesta Brewe at that time, Machito, the big bands. It was all big bands at that time. And everybody wanted to dance salsa. Salsa, which was a great sound. And they had Charlie Palmieri, they had Eddie Palmieri, they had Joe Quijano, they had Fajardo. But at that time, it was by ranks. The first early 1970s was the charanga and the pachanga, which was Charlie Palmieri. Then they had a couple of other groups, but it was with the violins. And people were just like incredibly involved in how to get to this. See, in other words, this was a thing that would separate the elite. Okay, so I'm in the scene, Okay, so I'm gonna be in the Palladium. But the Palladium was like, I would not say so, but Palladium was like, you got the Palladium and then you got Studio 54. I mean, you're like, Studio 54, you got Joe Travolta, but in the Palladium we got Eddie Palmieri, but that's cool.
Oh.
That's cool with Tito Puente.
In that
Right.
I get it.
Right. I'm dancing
Duality.
salsa. So they say, you know how to dance salsa? You have the Ray Barretto. You have all these folks that are there. And you say to yourself, wow, how are we going to do this? But Palladium was easier to get to than Studio 54. They had like the elite crowd, like the A-list. The A-list, Russ Stewart and Paul McCartney and so. Michael Jackson. And
everybody's just walking around chilling.
Yeah. I mean, you go in there, you bump into Michael Jackson, you bump into Russ Stewart, into guys from Blood, Sweat and Tears, guys from Journey, maybe Jimi Hendrix that were there. You go to Palladium, there you are, Tito Puente,
Just the Latin version.
Right. And then the Palladium, you had to have clave. You had to have that. Otherwise, it would be a problem. But at that time, there were instructors. And they would take you there. And there was a guy by the name of Pete. I can't remember his name exactly at the end. Pete. But Pete was very good. Pete, I had a friend also that used to be one of the incredible dancers in there. And they were great. And they would have like the big bands, like I mentioned before, the big ones that everybody wanted to see. This was like every other week. Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, and Machito Band. The Machito Band. And they were like Afro Cuban rhythms. And you would just go there and enjoy yourself. Once you come out of there, you come out with that satisfaction like, I danced some good salsa. Because it was like an exercise. The rhythms, the movement, it was incredible. The Palladium. I was there. My cousin took me when I was like 16. 16. He knew the bouncer. The bouncer said, well, okay, no problem. We'll work something out. And it was a closing night. As a matter of fact, I think it was Tito Puente, correct me on this, Tito Puente, Broadway, and Joe Cuba at that time. Yeah, Joe Cuba, the Pito. I want to go back to Georgia. I want to go back. That number was big. That number was very big. So the thing is, you tell somebody at work the next day that you went to the Palladium, you're the big guy. You said, wow, I'm going to stay away from you. I'm going to stay away from you. You're elite. You're a celebrity.
It makes separate yourself.
It makes sense all those movies back then were like...
Because not everybody will go to the Palladium and enjoy.
What was the movie with... It was all similar to that. The one with not Robert De Niro, Al Pacino.
You're talking about Mambo
Remember,
Kings?
it was like nightlife
Kings?
Spanish clubs.
Mambo
No,
Kings?
he was a gangster.
Oh, yeah.
Scarface?
Yeah,
Not
Scarface.
Scarface. No, he was in New York. He was in New York.
But I'm thinking maybe Mambo Kings. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's all around that era.
Godfather?
Not The Godfather. Why am I forgetting?
Al Pacino?
Al Pacino. Oh, yeah.
No, if it was,
Al Pacino.
if it was Al Pacino, I guess it was Scarface, though. But that was actually in Miami, though. But it was salsa. That's what that was dancing, though.
No.
Definitely.
It's the one in the Bronx.
Al Pacino?
Yeah. I'm not bugging right now.
Sure?
It wasn't Robert De Niro.
Oh.
And Chichi, you get the... No, not... That's...
Bronx Tale?
No, before
Okay,
that.
you know, Bronx Tale, no.
Casino?
Casino.
It's not Casino. I guarantee as soon as you pull it up, you're going to be like, oh!
With Robert De Niro?
No, it was Al Pacino. He was in love with the chick.
Wait a minute.
Homie, Juan Guzman was in that joint. Yeah, it was all around that time.
Wait a minute.
His lawyer.
I think I got it.
Homie was his lawyer.
I think I got it.
Sean Penn was his lawyer.
I think I got it. I think I got
yeah.
it. Carlitos Way.
Carlitos Way.
Carlitos Way.
Yeah.
You know why? Because my friend was there in the part where Al Pacino comes down, and then they got John Leguizamo in that movie also.
Yeah, he set him
so
up.
my
Ready from
friend,
the Bronx.
my friend is dancing, and my friend used to dance
Shout out to my baby Jesse.
in all these other clubs.
movie.
And I said, Papi, you came out in that movie, right? I said, yeah, I was in that movie. I said, yeah. Carlitos Way. Carlitos Way. Yeah, there he goes. That's the one. Yeah.
Carlitos.
Yeah.
That was that whole era that you're talking about.
diapers, Carlitos.
The whole era you talking about is, yeah.
Yeah, I still remember.
Yeah, that's wild.
Carlitos Way, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Wow. So, oh man, music is embedded in you from the beginning.
It's universal, man. It's so many stories. So many stories.
He was telling me about when he went down to Jimi Hendrix studio.
Oh no, that's crazy. The Jimi Hendrix experience. I went to.
It's an experience.
I went down to a part of the studio. Here I am. I have to play on a Saturday, so I go on a Friday. Jimmy's playing on a Saturday in the Fell Forum. That's when he came out with I think like maybe the second time he came to Madison. They had the Fell Forum, which has a rotunda. It goes around, but it's so slow that you can, But it's 360 degrees. Great. And I need some skins and maybe a bell. We're doing like 3-day thing. Matter of fact, I think I was going to Puerto Rico. So I said, okay, let me get this because I don't know what they have over there. Even though Puerto Rico, they had the regional stuff. But I want to be ready because we had to go play. So I said, okay, fine. Let me do this. So I went to this. I'm not going to mention names. Biggest store to tell the truth, 48th Street. Music in Manhattan. I mean, you go there were all the pictures of everybody. You could go by Keith Richards. You could go by like anybody. Guys from Yes, the keyboard. I said, wait a minute, ain't you? Yes, how you doing? Bah, bah, bah. So, wow, great. Like nothing, just like. And I went up. I go upstairs, and I'm looking for what I need, which is the skin for my drums. So I might be 2020, but hey, studio-wise, I could hear you. I could hear a pin a mile away. So I said, wait a minute. Why are you playing purple Gretsch drums? There's only one person that I know that play purple. It's Mitch Mitchell from Jimi Hendrix. And he had his back to me. So I look, and he looked at me, and he stopped. He came out, and he says, hey, chap, how are you? I said, can I ask you a question? I know, but I just wanted to be courteous. Mitch Mitchell said, yes. I said, wow, this is incredible. I mean, hey, it's, the drums, great. And he asked me, so what are you doing tomorrow night? I told him, I don't have really anything. I had to play. I had to play. He says, well, here he goes. He goes, chap. He gave me 2 tickets to the Madison Square Garden, the Rotunda, Jimi Hendrix experience, with no Harrison, the bass player. I said, Mamma mia. Front seat, Mamma mia. He had a whole bunch of tickets in his pocket. So I call my friend, I said, what are you doing tomorrow? He said, come, I got something for you. He used to love Hendrix. I mean, the music and all that. We went to all that good stuff. Cream and other groups. Led Zeppelin, Paul Butterfield's blues band. So he says, okay, we go there. To our surprise, we just go right in, we sit down. They light up the place. And we are like about, I would say about, from our seats, we're like about 15, 20 feet the most from the rotunda. This guy's got like 15 marshals one side, 15 marshals on the other side, and the drums are in the middle.
Marshals are the...
Lights came down. Every marshal is like 100 watts, if I'm not mistaken.
100 watts.
Sorry. 100 watts.
15 of them.
15 of them. Hello. So, okay. Correct me, guys. You're there in electronics. Things have changed. But at that time, it was loud. Hello. Loud with macro capitals. And lights came down. He comes up and says, Jimi Hendrix comes and says, oh, how you doing? Little thing. He says, okay, we got a number here. That number that we've been bam, bing, pum, bing, pum. When the whole band comes in, my shirt, it was summertime, my shirt started fluffing. You know what it said?
I'm gonna speak.
15 one side, 15 the other. That's it. That was it.
Those are from the speakers, right?
Look at that.
Those are 1,000-watt speakers.
Marshalls. Look at that.
Next level.
15
loud.
15 for Jimmy and 15 for Noah Harrison. So this was incredible. I mean, there was just a thing that is unbelievable. I mean, my friend came out there. I mean, I might be lying now, but he came on Monday. He told me, you know what, man? My ears are still ringing on a Monday from a Saturday, still ringing.
Jeez.
I had to walk him out. Because he was like stunned, like, what? But 15 watt, 15 Marshalls and 15 Marshalls.
That's what
Yeah, see.
Use the restroom. That's wild. 15 Marshalls, though. Yeah. No, está bien, go ahead. Things that happen during podcasts.
Behind the scenes stories. Oh, my goodness. What are you doing there, man? You're not a dog.
Yeah.
Now, this is dope.
I mean, that's crazy that, like, you have two clubs, right? You have two clubs. One, you have, Palladium, and these are these superstars, like Latin artists. And then in the other one, you have these other artists.
Yeah.
And then they go to the store, they pass each other. They're like, hey, man, what's up?
Yeah. Nah,
But the money's different, though.
but I
Excuse me.
it's crazy because the kind of clubs that they were trying to create were the clubs that were in those areas, because the music and the sound, like, you know what I'm saying? So I loved it. I miss those things too, because the clubs, like you said, so like the Palladium, what he's saying is that in order for them to, if everybody in the club is doing kind of the same thing, so if everybody's in the disco, they're not listening to the kind of music that they're not realizing is going to be the next wave.
The next wave.
So it takes for those people to say, let me go check out what's going on over here, because
Right.
I see this. Everybody's turned up and having a good time, but they're missing the part that, yeah, this is the sound, this is
Right.
the new way, this is the new energy that's taking over everything. This is great, bro. Thank you. So yeah, it's sort of like, what hip hop did. Not only that, but when the South literally came in with their sound, everybody was occupied with their sounds and things they were doing.
I don't want to get into the discussion with that, but when the Boogaloo started, no, don't that.
No, está prendido.
No, don't. When the Boogaloo started, the guys that started the whole thing was, and we came right after them. Was it Sugar Hill Gang?
Mm-hmm.
They was the one that started all that. I have a magazine that my wife got me, and they're there. And there was some other guys, which I never heard of, that they're there too, that, that's when the whole thing started. That they used to do in the street, do like, mixing and stuff. But before Sugar Hill. But Sugar Hill was the one that really put out dum-dum, dum-dum. And then if you connect that to remember, our record, I'm starting to come back. The record that we did that really did our first hit, but the thing was we modified it, was Curtis Mayfield. If you listen to, can you bring up Curtis Mayfield, Gypsy Woman? What we did was we modified it.
You just made it Spanish.
Yeah, and we made it Spanish. And then it crossed over. But he knew what we were doing. He says, no, let's open it up to everybody. And that was the number one hit. We got to go records for that. Yeah, I still have it home. And the people are like, oh, man, this story's...
Because it should be for everybody. Anytime you do anything
The
creative.
bass player was my cousin. He was 14 years old, bro. 14 years old. What are you doing at 1 o'clock in the morning? But he was a Louis. used to have his mother say, "Mommy, he's gonna come with me. Don't worry about it." 14 years old.
We got it.
And I was the youngest. Actually, no, I was the oldest. Joe was 24. Check this out. Joe was 24 and I was 19. And all the rest of the guys were like 17, 15, and 14. That was the band. And we were number one. We in 1969, we got the best AS. My friend said, yeah, SPCA. The dogs, I said, no, puppy, shut up. ASPCA. That was the recording we got for the best young group of the year.
That's crazy.
They watch this. They picked us up.
What's the name of the group?
Which one?
Your group. Jopatan? You talking about the Jopatan?
No. So you could. You already got. Jopatan at that time. Yeah. Best award for best young group. Best what's it? What's Latin? We had it from them. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Yeah. And they at that time, when you would go, we went to Jenny Masucci's house, and he used to have an apartment in Fifth Avenue. That's where he started making all the money from Fania. That's where when you go like, and the light would go on, and we came in, we all got in look at this. I'm like, okay, great. To us, it was fun. We didn't realize what we were.
Because I was young.
Yeah. And my cousin says, bro, what's going on? We're going to a party? I said, yeah, I think so. Now watch this. We came down. We had 2 limos. We went to the Riverside. At that time, Riverside was like, excuse me. We had like 3 tables, champagne, caviar, all that shit. And at that time, the best bands in Latin music, because we're Boogaloo, we're not like Latin, we're Boogaloo. We play Latin, but it was Tito Puente, Ricardo Rey, and Eddie Palmieri. They were opening up for us.
Oh, wow.
Seriously?
They were opening up for us. They said, and you see, I think I had the poster, tribute to the best band of 1968, so, Tito Puente, Eddie Palmieri, and Ricardo Rey, and then there we are.
That's good. You keep saying, like before we, what's the difference between Boogaloo, Salsa, Charanga, Mambo?
Oh.
Because to us, it's all salsa. But what is the difference?
No. See, there's always been a situation, a controversy. No, it's not actually a situation. It's a controversy as of what is salsa. Everybody's got their own definition, and to this day, I guess they're still looking to see what salsa is. Because salsa actually is like the sauce that you put on some different foods to make it spicy.
No.
So now, whatever it is, you're gonna try to make it spicy. I'm gonna say something, but I don't want it to be a statement that creates a situation. Now, a long time ago, there was a gentleman that he had his band. He came in, we're talking about 1950s, and he wanted, his band is playing, he had a show band, and he says, okay, why don't we do the following? Why don't we put a little bit of the salsa on this? Come on. Keep it lively. Let's put a little salsa on this. Kind of cream it up.
Wow.
Because salsa spices up the food.
Wow, sorry.
Okay? His name is Perez Prado.
So that's where that came from.
Perez Prado. And if you look it up good, and after that, things started kind of moving different ways. But the thing is the energy and the movement that you put into the music. Is salsa is like that energy. Come on, let's put some salsa in this. Right. Let's marinate it. Let's go. Come on. Why is it so like okay?
At the moment he thought it was bland, so he's like, get it.
Yeah, let's get some salsa. But Mr. Perez Prado told him, come on, man, let's put some salsa into this. And they move. So that's where it all comes from. Wow. I don't care if anybody's got
real history,
any other version.
It kind of makes sense.
But that's last thing I heard. Now, if it makes sense, if it works for them, make for you, fine. And charanga is this is from the Cuban side. It's a movement from the Cuban side. From the Cuban side, this got a long. We could be here for 3 days on this one, but charanga, it's
charanga comes from
from Cuba. Yeah. If you want to know about charanga, actually, you just listen to a group called Orquesta Aragon. They are, I believe, the kings. Like Tito Puente is the king of Mambo. Aragon is like, they were like the king, and they still around. We're talking about like 60 years, the kings of the charanga. That's the guys. Boogaloo was something that was created in the 70s. There was a couple of bands involved. It was a movement between salsa and like more or less like rock and roll type thing. The suave of it. And if you want to hear names, Joe Bataan, Willie Colon, Quinando, my friends New Swing Sextet, Pete Conde, which had a number that was very popular at that time. It was called "I Like It Like That." Yeah, so that established, but that was a form of dancing and a form of movement that lasted for a while. After that, then other things came in. But salsa, charanga, the same thing. It's like it was eras.
Got it.
60s, 70s. Then in between 80 and 90, we got this thing called salsa monga. Salsa monga is like salsa and ballads. Now the guys are like singing, a number of them, great. But they're singing the salsa more or less like in ballads. But danceable. And then it goes down, keeps going down, 90s, 2000s, and then comes the reggaeton. And that's where it all ended. Yes.
Damn.
Reggaeton, that's where it all ended.
That's where it ended.
Yeah.
Perreo.
Yeah, Perreo. Okay, that was it then.
What do you tell any aspiring musician nowadays? What do you tell them if they really want to pursue this?
Well, actually, things have changed. Things have changed because in the early, to make a long story short, and I've seen it, in the early 60s, I would say, 50s, a lot of musicians didn't have any professional guidance or any way of going about pursuing a career. Like, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna? Can I sing? Can I play guitar? Nowadays, with new systems, the media, the devices, the teaching, basically 90% of people out there are, including percussionists, everybody reads music. Everybody, all percussionists read music. Even for clave, it's some music. Look it up in the different areas, YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. They even show you how to play clave. They show you how to play guiro. They show you how to play maracas. So now is way easier, but still, you gotta have that clave feeling to go about it. Otherwise, you'll go in the next direction. But it's interesting. It's fun. Some people have more talent than others. And some people could get a nice career out of it. And there's some natural folks out there that would just come out and surprise everybody. Like for example, I'm mentioning the name. There's a young lady just won a Grammy, jazz. Everybody's like saying like, how does she do it? And she's there. Why? It's the talent. The talent is there. You could do it. You could do it. If you put your heart to it, you go out there, you want to play guitar, you get a manual, there's YouTube, and you enjoy yourself. You don't have to be a professional. Don't go crazy. Oh, enjoy yourself. And you never know. Hey, I just might throw a contract on you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I love it.
That was awesome. Thank you for the memories.
That's awesome.
It's good to know.
So any shout outs you want to give to people? Past, present?
Remember, music is universal.
And what message you want to leave for the people, the aspiring artists?
Follow your heart. Follow your heart. Sit down. Take a minute. Look into more or less what is it that, because music is broken down in many categories. Look into more or less what is it you want to do. You want to do jazz, which is improv. You want to do rock. You want to do classical. You want to do Latin. You want to do any other type. Look into, but go back to history and see the way those people develop into what they are now. And maybe one of them might inspire you. See, this is all a matter of being inspired into what you want to do. You want to put your heart and soul, and you never know, you might have it. It's been there all the time. But go back. Okay, you might be a Miles Davis. You might be a Betty Carter. You might be a Chick Corea. Okay, you might be a Frank Sinatra, and you don't even know it. Okay, it's not a matter of singing in the shower now. Just go out there. It's all inspiration. Just sit. Okay, what is it? And don't think about I would like to be like so-and-so. No, that doesn't work. It's you. You go out. Remember, there's a lot of competition out there. It's very competitive. The streamlining, they're doing all this. Instruments are being replaced by electronics, etc. Go out there and do it. It doesn't matter. You could be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Doesn't matter. You could be like me. Okay, I'm still young anyway, so. but still, right, but still, young in heart and young in the music. But remember, it's an inspiration. It's how you feel you want to go about it. What is it you want to do? You want to be a singer? You want to be a guitar player, a bass player? Anything you want. And you never know. You'll enjoy it, your friends enjoy it, and your family will enjoy it. And then you get back to me and says, wow, thank you very much.
Perfect. That's right.
Peace and love, man.
Triple C.
Thank you.
Blessed are the peacemakers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the one and only Mr. Eddie Nater for coming in, sharing his life's work of being a musician. Broke it down from the beginning. We talk about the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Like, he can still go in. But we got to have him back on for another episode. But we appreciate his time for coming out and just building with us, giving us inspiration on music.
Yeah.
And the beginnings, where it came from and where it's going. It's a lot. It's a lot to unravel. There's layers to this. But this is what we bring to the table, man. Phenomenal human beings with phenomenal past and life experiences. We appreciate you. We love you. Silverback Chronicles Podcast. Stay safe. Tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We love y'all. Be easy. Peace out.
Wow, that's great, man. Yeah, make sure that you edit.
Opinions expressed on the Silverback Chronicles podcasts are those of the hosts, producers, and/or the guest appearing on the program. They do not reflect the views and opinions of the federal, state, or local government. This includes but not exclusive to the Department of Defense, Homeland, and the Baltimore City Police Department. The Silverback Chronicles podcast with Dre, Big H, and Triple C. Hit the subscribe button, like and comment.